Breaking up all this static running through my blood. Again, why do you waste your light on me? Out of luck, can I keep my head above this time? Again, feeling the ground collapse on me. Blown around in a storm that only brings me down. Again, why does it feel so hard to breathe? Why does it feel so hard to breathe? So hard to breathe. Never found, but these voices bring me to my knees. Again, why do you waste your light on me?
Hello, everyone.
Who would like to
Hope you
begin?
guys are
Yo, what's good,
Hey, how's it
gamers?
going, everybody?
enjoying yourselves.
My name is Toki.
I'm happy to be here.
My name is
Dude,
Toki.
I'm stoked to
And
be here.
yeah, no, it's I cannot wait. I was super excited to be invited to this to be a part of it. My name's Toki. I'm a full-time streamer here on Twitch, and we're playing some kind words and talking to these two wonderful experts. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Matt and Ryan. Oh, I like that, Ryan.
It was just too dark, and I had to fix it. I'm sorry,
Got
I had
it,
to fix
got
it. It's
it.
too dark.
So right now, Ryan just loaded up a Naruto background. Perfect. And now, I'm Matt. Hello, everyone. I'm an esports physical therapist. I'm also a performance coach, and I started 1HP, which is an organization where our main goal is just to help gamers live well so that they can game well. And we have quite a roster of different disciplines, from clinical psychs to sleep specialists to nutritionists to chiropractors, physical therapists. Just the Thanos Infinity Stones of disciplines, so that we could really, hopefully, snap our fingers and create some positive change for the community. And Ryan is one of the doctors here that we have on staff. And Sensei, would you please introduce yourself?
Yo, what's good, gamers? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei. I am a esport and clinical psychologist. I specialize in working with gamers, coaches, and organizations and helping them basically perform better, game better, and have fun doing it. So I'm stoked to be here. I'm super excited to be talking with Toki and sitting down with my good friend Matt to talk esports, physical therapy, and psychology. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, we are here for Mental Health Month, and for me, mental health is a really important topic that I think constantly needs awareness.
Yeah.
One thing that I feel like I've said so many times before, not only with physical therapy, but in general, we need more preventative approaches for mental and physical health. So just like we see the dentist on a regular basis, we should be seeing a psychologist to maybe identify our blind spots, maybe just learn better coping strategies. And then, of course, self-plug, we need to see physical therapists so that we can move better and game more, right? But yeah, that's why I'm so happy that we're able to all come together so that we can just raise a little more awareness of mental health and physical health. And again, thanks, Toki, for being willing to come on and speak a little more and maybe have us break down your posture and ergonomics a little bit.
Dun, dun, dun.
And see if I can help you in any way.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, what does mental health mean for you guys? Just curious before we maybe hop into it.
Go for it, Toki. I'll go after you.
Okay.
Beauty for before age.
I mean, as far as what it means, as far as taking care of it, it's everything. It's just important as sort of like what you said. Same way you go to a dentist, like taking care of your physical health and doing cardio and staying hydrated and lifting weights. People might think of that first and foremost when they think of taking care of your health, but taking care of your mental health, your invisible aspect of your health is just as important. And it's something that I feel like is often neglected, and kind of bottling things up, pushing things to the side, or the stigma that's sort of attached to it in society. And that's what I want to do. It's often a topic of discussion in my community, is just sort of breaking down that barrier and talking about it, normalizing it, and encouraging everyone to take care of it the same way that you take care of your physical health, because you can't
Exactly.
see it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And just to add to what you said, Toki, it was beautiful. I think as an esports psychologist, the major difference between esports and traditional sports is that esports is a very cognitive, mental dependent activity. And the funny thing is, it's super important to take care of mental health, because whether you're conscious or unconscious of it, there's a lot of things that can affect your gaming and your performance if you're thinking about it or not. So when thinking about increasing performance, it's definitely being able to be present and aware of what's going on, so you can just play, and then at the same time taking care of anything that may get in the way, relationships, maybe with your teammates, your coaches, your significant other, your brother, your sister, your parent, your friends, all of it. So again, we don't have to worry about those things when we're in game.
Yeah.
So I think taking care of yourself and being aware of what's happening, and not only just being aware, but thinking about it and seeing what we can do differently, and ensuring that we take care of ourselves for sure.
Absolutely.
So let's get into. I think we're playing this really cool game today called.
Dude.
We are.
Yeah.
I've
Well, we're
never
not
played
playing.
it.
We're spectating this game called Kind Words. Please use kind words. That's the intro theme that I just came up with. And Tokki, let's take it away. Let's see what this
Shall
game
we?
is about.
Shall we?
Let's do it. And in the meantime, guys, what we're gonna be doing, which is I think it's kind of unique. We're gonna be having this next section where I have a conversation with Tokki about her physical health, and seeing if I can help her in any way address any issues that she might be currently dealing with, and maybe just answering some questions while she writes some kind words to some deer, to some I think animals in this game. I'm not really sure,
So
but
you
I'm looking
want me
forward to it.
Would you like me to go ahead and dive in, or do you want to start?
Let's see the game
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah,
first.
dude. And I'm just gonna be here to sit here and look pretty. So
Yep.
Hello, I'm Ella,
Oh
and
my
I'm new
God.
in town. I'm your new male deer.
Oh my God, Ella. Oh my God, Ella.
I'm your first
love it.
male deer. My job is to carry letters back and forth between people who need cheering up. I love this already. Which is only
This is
everybody. It's true, because we're all humans.
It's true.
Because everybody
It's
gets
true.
sad or scared. I'm even a little nervous
So we're
about my new
just
job
gonna
here.
play this game, then. This is all we need.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
I don't suppose you'd write me an encouraging note, please. Then I deliver it to myself and feel better at my job. Oh,
Ella's just adorable.
oh, dear.
Dear,
Yeah.
dear.
Very cute, very cute.
Congrats on your new job.
I love this.
You're
Alright,
going
so-
to be amazing. Okay, so I'm getting the hang of it.
So while you write this beautiful letter to Ella the deer, let's just start off with how do you Tokki stay healthy as a streamer, going full time now? I think how long has it been? It's been 3 years.
I have been streaming total for 3 years. We actually just celebrated our 3 years together as a community this past weekend. I have been full time for a year and change, just a bit over a year.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so within that, so switching from not full time or maybe part time to now full time,
Right.
how do you manage your overall health as a streamer, as a full time streamer?
Right.
I think that's important to start with.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, that did change a lot, because actually, when I was part-time, I was a full-time teacher, and that actually kept me active in an effortless way. Like, I didn't have to, you know what I mean? My job itself was active, because I was teaching kindergarten, elementary, and middle school kids.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
running after kids. I was on my feet 9 hours a day, chasing after kiddos. I walked at where I lived at the time. I walked to and from work. I was in the middle of a city, so it was public transportation, subway, and your bike, and walking to from school. And also, it was in a type of academy that my classroom was on the 4th floor, and there was no elevators. So it was actually a pretty active job, and streaming
Yeah.
was a part-time hobby of mine. Then I moved back to, that was actually overseas. I moved back to America, into full-time streaming, and everything. My entire life became much more sedentary. Very sedentary. I don't have to, there's no like walking in public transportation. All that stuff is not a thing now that I'm back in the States.
Right.
So for a long time, I moved here in sort of the height of like quarantine and COVID shutdown.
Oof.
I gained those quarantine lbs for sure, like most of America.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, and I've had to sort of take control of that because I let it go for a long time. Being just totally honest and upfront, I wasn't doing much physical activity during quarantine and all that. Recently, I've gotten really into group exercising, group workout classes. I tried to do, like workout on my own at a gym, but to be honest, I'm not very knowledgeable. I don't know what I'm doing in a gym. I can't curate a workout. I tried to do my own research, but for me, it's group exercise. That's how I maintain my physical fitness because I need the guidance, essentially. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. I think group exercise is such a great way to even just get started with regular exercise because you have that community aspect. And two, they help with programming, right? And I just love that aspect to any sort of group type of class.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a lot out there right now. I think there's like F45, Fairies. There's even just like courses on the side, Orange Theory. I know there's a lot. So if anyone's interested, I think in exercising, those are often great initial alternatives to just getting started. And so I guess within that time that you had to be sitting a lot more, is there any area of discomfort that has built up since?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty fast. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can get to very complacent, like you said, like getting comfortable in that place. And it can be intimidating to start working on those things. The gym can be intimidating, all that. So those classes help that. It's structure, it's guidance, it's motivation, which is huge, and it's accountability as well. And those, like you mentioned, all those different type of group classes. All those different type of group classes, a lot of them have like objectives, and this is gonna sound maybe a little silly to you, I'm not sure or not, but a lot of those group classes actually have elements that us gamers and streamers would be very, very familiar with, like unlocking achievements and leveling up characters.
Sick.
A lot of them incorporate apps and stuff like that, and having achievements that you can unlock, like whether like what's burning a certain amount of calories, doing a certain amount on XYZ machine, or running, like trying to beat like your how fast you can run a mile, your minute mile, and trying to build on that and beat that. It's sort of like leveling your character, but you're leveling yourself. It might sound silly, but it's very, very helpful, and I highly recommend it.
It's a real life MMO, guys.
It's a real life MMO.
You know? New World? Nah. We go to these classes. Or we do both. Anyways, I love that. Yeah, I love the gamification of exercise, and I think it just makes it really easy for us to adopt it.
The gamification of exercise. I love that.
So, any area that you are maybe having some issues with right now, now that you have been maybe sitting more, using your wrist and hand more?
Honestly, I did invest in a very good chair. I know ergonomics are important, so I hope I get a little bit of bonus points with you for this. Am I allowed to say the brand of chair? Is that okay?
Hey, I'm okay with it.
What does it rhyme with? What does it rhyme with, Tokki?
Airman Hiller.
It starts with the H and ends with Airman Hiller. Okay, got it. Airman Hiller it is. Wow, man. I love Airman.
Sick company. I love it.
Okay.
I do have but that is an investment.
Made by Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
I knew that when you're sitting, you don't necessarily have to be a streamer, a gamer. If you have a sedentary desk job, if you're at a PC a lot, because there's so much more on Twitch nowadays than gaming, right? I mean, there's cooking shows, there's everything. So if you are spending a lot of time at a desk, and a lot of people working from home in the current global climate as well, that stuff is important, and it is an investment. And your typical gaming racer chair may not be the best thing for you. I did invest in a Herman Miller. It is also an intimidating chair because there's so many bits and bobs. So
I feel you.
There are lots of bobs.
Lots of bits and bobs to the chair, but I do think I have it ergonomically relatively correct. Even though, my
We'll see.
I know.
We'll see about that.
I'm nervous. My feet do hit the floor flat, but I make that gamer habit of crossing my legs. Guilty
Got it,
of
got it.
doing the gamer cross leg thing.
Is it a single leg cross or is it the double
Both.
leg cross?
I switch it up.
Okay, so
Wait, Dr. Matt,
nice.
is there one is worse than the other, a single or a double, or is it doesn't matter?
I'm assuming with your spine
it doesn't
being
ultimately matter. Yes, the double can ultimately or sometimes lead to a little more of the rounding of the pelvis, but in general, it's good for everyone watching to know that no one posture is inherently more harmful than any other posture. But it's the amount of time that we spend in it and on top of physical inactivity that leads to issues, right? When we maintain a position for an extended period of time, guess what? Our bodies, they will adapt to it, right? So if you, let's say, for instance, you put your right foot underneath your left thigh,
Okay.
you get that single right leg cross, we're putting ourselves into this position of external rotation. And then some muscles get tight, some muscles get weak to allow us to better maintain that position, because it's saying, hey, while I'm spending so much time here, let me make it easier to stay in this position. And that's why it's important for us to be mindful of just how much time we're spending in this position. It's not necessarily bad. Do you have any associated back pain or any
I
hip
don't have
discomfort?
a ton of lower back pain. The only lower back pain that I actually accumulated was when I started working out, because you go from doing low row, you know what I mean, low row type of exercises. You are training things and moving things that you hadn't before.
Got it.
What actually I suffer from is shoulder pain.
Okay.
I do
Let's talk.
have a hunch. I
Okay.
do not have a standing desk. It's a regular desk.
Got it.
I did
Standard 30-inch height, I think,
I
is typical
put it
desk.
together myself. It was
Got
recommended.
it.
It
So
was
crooked.
recommended. It was recommended that
I
at
hear
least
you.
2 adults do it, but I did it by myself.
Okay, so
Or
it's
one Tokki. Yeah.
currently like this. Got it.
So potentially, I have a feeling that it might be the desk might be too high.
Got it. And so what are you feeling with your shoulders?
I sometimes feel like this. If you see in the camera, I sometimes feel like my shoulders are trying to go to my
You
ear.
feel, your shoulders are just hanging out with your ears. We see that a lot.
You do.
What are you feeling though with your shoulders?
Sort of like a dull pain and stiffness, and then it also carries on to sleeping at night, because I'm also a side sleeper. So it carries from the desk to my bed. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Where exactly are you feeling
Right
it?
here.
Is it?
A major issue is it's here, in the sort of traps area.
Trap region. Yeah, trap queen. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep.
Many of us gamers turn into trap kings and trap queens because of our posture, right? And exactly what you
Pardon me.
described. If the table is a little too high,
Yes.
our shoulders hang out with our
Remember that.
ears, and if it's in that position for an extended period of time, the muscles will shorten. That can even eventually lead to things like headaches.
Really?
Overall, just poor mechanics. If you're doing exercises with your arms, it can lead you to putting your shoulder at risk for some issues.
Okay.
So it's important that we address that. Is your chair at the maximum height right now?
I don't think so. I think it
Got
can
it.
be higher.
So that would be one thing I would start with, because ideally, in the most optimal position for ergonomics, our forearms are parallel. I think you're doing pretty great with that.
Okay.
And our shoulders are relaxed, so they're further away from our ear, and that's after we ensure that our chest stays up here. So our shoulders stay down and away. And typically for maybe people that are shorter like myself, if I'm bringing my chair up, I need a footrest. So I have a little footrest, whether it be a few books or you just buy a footrest
I
online.
actually did
It
buy a
allows you
footrest
to
recently.
see.
I just haven't put it under the desk yet.
Tokki, there it is. You planned ahead.
Yes.
How did you know?
Yes,
Or did we set this
No,
up?
we actually didn't talk about this.
Just kidding. No, we didn't. We actually didn't, I swear. So that's great. So I think you can try it, and if you don't mind trying it right now, and I know you also recorded your posture.
I did. Do you want me to show that?
So let's show it, and let's kind of see what I've identified.
All right,
or
guys.
I see. Let's see it.
All right, guys. Good luck. Good luck with the judgment.
And then let's write a good letter. Let's do some kind words. Okay. Anyways, here we go. Nice. Okay. Definitely some shoulder elevation. Shoulders a little closer, and then from the top down view. Ooh, I would
That camera
guess,
work though.
Yeah, I might guess some left wrist issues, but I don't know. It could be both, depending on what
It's
you're
more
doing.
my right, I think.
Interesting. Got it. Okay. And so if we look at your posture here, so yeah, definitely shoulders up a little higher. That's the main thing. And just in general, for women, especially those who are heavier chested, that can lead it so that it's easier for rounding to occur. And that's just a really natural part, of just being a woman.
Yeah.
And many, many times what we recommend is getting a cross strap bra, so that it's not pushing you down, so you bring your shoulders up a little more to compensate for it.
I have a ton of
that's
like
what we recommend.
workout stuff that would work for that.
That can be beneficial, but I would say, hey, if you don't mind trying elevating your chair a little bit to see if you could bring your chest up, allow your shoulders to relax, and then slide that footrest under you.
Okay, I need to get the footrest.
Got it. Yeah.
footrest.
So you can attempt that next time.
Yeah.
But that's just one thing we can look at, and there's a few exercises that I think can be beneficial.
Okay.
And the way that we always look at it is, hey, we have to kind of zoom out and kind of build this pie chart of what's contributing to your issue, right? One of it is being, hey, your posture is definitely leading to that muscle being used a little more. There's no doubt about that. And then number two, do you have the strength and mobility to maintain a better position, but also handle longer periods of time before that muscle gets fatigued and then tightens up a little more. So the exercises that we would include would be something like this. I actually have a band. So, you could use a nice little towel, or if you have a band at home, it's one of my most recommended exercises for just shoulder positioning.
Okay.
This is more general.
Just a resistance band?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll look like this. You can kind of see. You don't have to try it right now, but it's called a TheraBand pullover. You
Okay.
bring it taut, and then you bring it all the way behind you until it's behind you here, and then making sure that your
How do you
shoulders,
do that with that?
making sure your shoulders stay down here, so that it's like that.
Dr. Ryan is impressed.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
And so that's
Wow.
going to be one exercise that a lot of us can do. It really opens up your chest. It also
Wow.
helps you bring your spine a little more upright. So it works on your mid back, works on your chest, works on your shoulder. And that, especially if you hold it at the end, it works on the muscles that allow you to maintain a better posture. So that's going to be one thing. There's quite a few things that we would be able to incorporate, but I would say if I was just to choose one, that might be a good one that you could look to try.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a question about actually
Sure.
like being in the middle of a game. Another thing that I struggle with, and I know a lot of people will say this too, when you're like really in the thick of it and making a play or something like that, the more intense the game gets, the worse my posture gets.
Yeah.
It's like
The most
it's like between
asked question.
between matches in lobby, I'll like reevaluate. I'm like, oh, I better sit up straight and like, but like if you're in the middle of like a really intense moment in game,
Yep.
I suddenly start to like, it's called the gamer posture. I suddenly start to get my
Yep.
gamer posture.
The focus position.
I start doing this.
Exactly.
I start leaning into the screen.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I cannot mentally, like I can't It's like a training thing.
Yeah.
Do I just train myself?
It is.
Is that it?
So there's two ways that we can approach it. We call it performance mode, by the way.
Performance mode. Okay.
Performance mode.
So I actually did a video about this recently of this famous Valorant player. His name is Redgar. I don't know if you guys have heard of
Okay.
him. But during the Masters, it was like the world's version of Valorant, everyone looked at his posture and he played like this. And actually, I've been in contact with him.
Okay.
Engage. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
been in contact with him. He has no pain. So
Really?
no pain at all. But he regularly exercises. He changes positions frequently in between his
Okay.
games, and that allows him and affords him the endurance and capacity to handle those positions. So it's not necessarily bad, but if you have the right conditioning, if your muscles are strong, if you exercise regularly, you get up to move, you take breaks, then you can assume that position for those few moments, as long as you're not like that for the 8 to 12 hours. That's the big difference here, right? And yes, we do want to be more biomechanically in an optimal position, and the way that we achieve that is we kind of have to leverage some behavioral science. So I like to say that we use anchors in the game, whether it be every time you die, every time you get a kill streak, you use that as a quick reminder, or you ask your chat posture check to say chest up, chin tucked, and over
Chest
time
up, chin tucked. Oh, I
Yeah.
never did. We actually have a posture check redeem,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not know about the chin thing.
see, it's actually 3, so it's chest up, chin tucked, just shoulders slightly tilted back,
Okay.
and you're
Chest up.
golden.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's those 3, and over time you will change it. And so they've done a few studies on this. It takes roughly 40 minutes a day, and in 5 days you can change your motor coordination. But I think what's more realistic for gamers is, hey, if you dedicate 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, you can change it gradually in the 2 to 3 week mark.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's a little more realistic and manageable.
Okay.
In these, bite-sized approaches. So I would say leverage some of that, create some rules for yourself that you'll be able to remember.
That's like a
as
game
way
of
to-
Pokemon Unite or Dead by
Yeah.
Daylight. Is that
Yeah.
a
Dead by Daylight. Yes.
Is that a 10-minute game, or how long is that?
Really, it depends. The games can be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes.
Well, there
Got
you
it.
go. One
Yeah.
round. One
One
round.
round, quick. And so then it's okay if you're stopping and just like moving your shoulders a little bit between that. I'm totally okay with performance mode being the 5 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. Performance mode.
That's also cool.
I love
Yeah.
that performance.
Right.
mode. I'll use
It's
that, yeah.
also, it's not just performance mode, but it's also like the length of a stream, like how long you're streaming for. My posture will start
Yes.
out better
Yeah,
as we
yeah.
get 6 hours in, 5, 6, 7 hours in, my posture starts to decline.
Yeah. So we need to
I've become less mindful of it.
I need to create like a quick stream exercise thing that you just put on and you follow it every 3 hours.
Yeah.
You just follow this quick 5-minute routine and have your viewers go through it maybe. Something
Yeah,
like
that'd be
that.
dope.
But yeah, I think that might be a little nice break because mentally and physically you might feel better after getting up, moving your shoulders a little bit. Maybe adding some silly movements at the end so that
yeah.
you can just
A
feel better
Tone with
about
Tokki.
yourself.
I see the segment
Yes.
already. Ooh, so fun.
Tone with Tokki,
Aside
wow.
from being mindful when you're in the chair itself, when you're at your desk in your chair, and being mindful of your posture in the chair, how often should you actually be leaving the chair? How often should you step
Ooh,
away
good
from the
question.
PC?
Very good question.
Because I am guilty of sort of riding it out. I don't take very many breaks.
Yeah.
I don't take.
So, there was I don't remember the true details of the study, but there was a study that looked at how long it takes to undo the pooling of blood at your legs after sitting for an extended period of time, and I think it's roughly an hour. If you get up and walk for at least 5 minutes, you will undo some of that pooling or allow for
Okay.
the blood to properly circulate.
Okay.
So I would say if you're getting up every 30 minutes, it scales down, maybe 2.5 minutes. And if you
Okay.
are an hour, you just get up and walk 5 minutes. And it doesn't mean you have to walk. You can get up and do a couple calf raises because, again, as we are sitting, blood stays low because of gravity, and naturally our muscles and our lower body have to work a little harder over time. That's also sometimes a reason why we get fatigued for super long streams because, hey, our circulation is not functioning as well.
Okay.
So yeah, really great question. I would say at a minimum, like, hey, if you don't get up in 1 hour, then double the time. 2 hours, 10 minutes, 3 hours, 15 minutes, 4 hours, 20 minutes, 24 hours, 1 day, you know. So yeah, I know you mentioned you have some right wrist issues.
do.
Why don't we dig in a little more to that?
Okay. Well, technically both, but I do know that it didn't start because of gaming, but gaming certainly didn't help. Yeah, it definitely started like, you know,
Got
in
it.
college and stuff. I was a server to you know, to work my way through university.
Feel you.
I was a server, and like I always had multiple jobs. I worked a lot and did a full school load as well.
Wow,
And
nice.
actually developed some ganglion cysts in my wrists.
Okay.
Ooh.
got
Yeah.
it.
And I have on and off used a brace on my wrist.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be a little tricky with sleeping, even like putting my hand under the pillow. And so when I
Yep.
wake up the next day and I get ready for stream, I feel it honestly more on my mouse. More on my mouse hand. I think maybe
Got it.
I might like if I let me just I definitely
And so you feel it here then, right?
yeah, and I definitely use, you know, there's more wrist motion in the mouse than like WASD.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, so that's
So
my
really good question. So I mean, really, that's good to understand. Have you gotten it aspirated before? Meaning, have you had any surgical
I have
intervention
not.
to just like
I have not.
pull it out? Okay, that's fine. Has it gone away on its own before?
yes.
Got it. So it's been known to do that. You know, it behaves like that. So for all of you guys that have had a little bump here, it's nothing to worry about. The main thing is that it's just a swelling or ballooning of a certain part of the tendon, and that creates this cyst that builds up a fluid. And it's nothing major to worry about. They used to treat it by just getting a big book and slamming it,
Oh.
and then it just
You got a medical
dissolves.
for
I
that?
heard
Jeez.
I have heard of this. The old-fashioned
Yeah.
term is like Bible
It's
bump,
old-fashioned. Yep, the Bible
right?
bump. Bam!
Yeah.
It just goes away, but it can return
But that's dangerous,
more,
I heard.
more
That's
easily.
science?
Yeah, that's science. It can return a little more at a higher rate than if you did like a surgical aspiration. And the main way that we approach that, oftentimes it develops due to maybe underlying overuse and some irritation leading to that part of the tendon wall maybe getting a little weaker. So always what we look to address, and most of the time with gaming anyways, is do you have enough endurance at the muscles that you're using most commonly?
Okay.
And Tokki, the way I like to have every gamer think about it, and for every gamer listening, if you only tuned in to learn one thing, this would be that. Treat and think of your body and your muscles and tendons as having like a health bar.
Okay.
Every single time you click, every single time you move your wrist and hand, you press WASD, you get in performance mode, you're gradually losing HP. And there's things that we can do to reduce the amount of HP that we lose. For instance, if we have better posture, we have better overall conditioning, we sleep well, we eat well. Instead of losing 4 HP, we lose 1. And when we get down to 0, our tissues become irritated. They
Right.
maybe tell us we have pain. And on the flip side, there's things that we can do to restore HP. 1, rest. 2, stretching. 3, ice, kinesio tape, heat, all these temporary ways to recover, maybe wearing a brace. But the most important part of all is the size of that health bar. How much HP do you have? And that's represented by your muscular endurance. Okay, so you can build that up.
Right.
You can do exercises to build up how much action just over the course of the day you can handle. And so if it is in this region here on the top side of the wrist, one of the most commonly recommended exercises that we provide, whether it be a dumbbell or a TheraBar, I have my little Bowflex dumbbells here right behind me, ready to go.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Alright, you can use that. You can use a water bottle. That also works. And all you're doing is supporting your forearm here like this. You guys can kind of see this. Well, I'll just show you.
I'm watching.
Like your forearms are
He's
supported.
flexing.
Yeah, your forearms are supported. Yep, I'm flexing. Guys, this is 100 pounds. You see this? And so you're just going up and down. And actually, the way that we do it can be pretty important too. If you count at a specific cadence, meaning 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down, doing that versus self-paced has actually been shown to be better in addressing the ability of our muscles to work and strength. So you want to do 3 sets of around 12 to 15 with maybe like a little water bottle to start with, and then use that cadence of 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down, and treat it like a regular conditioning routine. Like, hey, I wake up, I'm a streamer, so this is a standard thing I have to do to take care of my body.
Right.
I do that. And then, like I said, that's building your health bar up. You actually don't have too many issues with your posture based on what you showed me, which is great. But I would say if you're feeling it a little bit with your left hand, your wrists are a little bit like this, if you can see that. You keep your knuckles a little close to the palm rest, and that shortens the top side, meaning that it just can lead it to fatigue a little more quickly. So if you're up a little higher like this, that can often help a little bit. But if you exercise, again, you can have any posture you want as long as you have the capacity for it. So I would say that's a good thing to start with, just some wrist extensions regularly. Once every day, 3 sets of 12 to 15. You'll probably notice it in 2 to 3 weeks improve pretty significantly.
It's really good tips. Thank you.
On top of that, of course, stretching. So this guy, you make a little fist, bend down, and then you apply some overpressure. You'll feel it along the top side. And you can think of that again as restoring your HP when you stretch.
Restoring your HP. I like it.
Yep. So yeah, that's how I would look to approach your shoulder and your wrist. Shoulder, just to review, bring your chair up a little bit. Bring your footrest. For your wrist, start some exercises and do some stretching in between. I would do some of these shoulder exercises. Yeah, lift the chair, put your
do the footrest. Got it.
And then just be mindful of where your shoulder position is. If it's up really high, that can lead to more of that neck issue. And then I know you mentioned a little bit about sleep. As long as your head is neutral, meaning not tilting like this, not tilting like this, not tilting all the way back, not tilting forward, just stacked right over your shoulder. While you're in bed, if you're sleeping on your side, you just need a pillow to allow for that. Otherwise, again, over time, if you're holding it here, it's like if I did this to my joint and my fingers for the whole 8 hours that we're sleeping. It's probably not going to feel good in the same way. If you're like this for 8 hours, the joints in our neck, they don't like that.
I recently bought this. Have you heard of this cube? The pillow that's the shape of a cube. Have you heard of this thing?
No.
Ooh, I've seen it.
Is it the Horager cube?
I got this cube, and
it.
I'm hoping the cube, like you said, it's all connected. Is gonna help me better when I'm at my desk. And
what's it called? Because it just looked up pillow cube.
That's what it is, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pretty good at searching Google, I guess.
Sidebar Pillow Cube. Yo, Twitch chat, if you guys got questions for Dr. Matt or Tokki, I am your pseudo moderator in the Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, I'm looking here. So put them down there, and then I'll try to moderate for both of them if you guys have any questions. But back to Pillow Cubes.
Back to Pillow Cubes. I think that would be a really good option. You know, I'd love to read a little bit into what kind letters that you're writing because
Dude, her letter was so touching. I low-key was reading. I was like, oh, that's so.
Wait,
that was
let
so
me see.
nice.
I'm on my second
Let's
one. I'm in the middle of one right now. I've already sent one.
I love that suggestion of I'm far away from home too, and if you want to stay connected, watching a Netflix show together is a
Really,
great
like-
way. I was like, oh,
That's
that was
sweet.
awesome.
You might be,
That's cute.
because when I was overseas and far away, I was, you know, like as far away as you could get, 17-hour time difference.
Nice.
And no, you can't have maybe the same meals at the same time, but like I said, like you both say you're gonna have spaghetti this evening, and you're gonna watch the next episode of this show that you're both watching together. Then you both like can like text about it and talk about it. When you FaceTime, you both had your spaghetti. You both watched the next episode of. I know Squid Games is what we all need to be
Squid
watching
Game.
right now. You both watched
Squid
the
Games,
next
yeah,
episode of
Squid
Squid
Game.
Games. Distance, that's the
Circle,
beautiful
square,
thing about
triangle.
technology in the world that we live in now is that distance. You know what I mean? Love knows no distance, and technology keeps us
Absolutely.
close. Keeps us close.
Exactly.
So I hope that helps that person.
I love that. Oh my god, that's amazing.
But let's be real. You say, okay, let's wait for this episode. You go, okay, and then you guys both sprint watch and then come back, right, and say, oh my gosh, I never knew this was gonna happen. What?
Oh, well, what?
You
What?
gotta make sure no spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, any other questions or thoughts around your physical health? Because I think this is a pretty great transition with kind words to the next portion of our stream.
No, that's it. I need to, you know, life stuff has kept me out of my those gym classes that we talked about, but I'm anxious to get back into them because, you know, as far as you said, connecting us to the next portion of the stream, it's just that's the entire point, is that it is all connected. Because when I was physically taking care of myself, I also felt better mentally. It's just all so connected. When I was working out before my stream, any of those bad pent up things, you sort of release them in the workout. You sort of release them every time you pick up, pick up the heavy metal and you drop it, like with every ding, with every, you know what I mean, with every rep, you are leaving something out there. You're expelling whatever, you know, you've got also going on upstairs, and that also helps with your streams. If you're interacting with your community or need to focus in game, it's all connected. I'm things are getting better with the doggo, so I'm excited to get back into my classes for sure. And
That's awesome.
And get my footstool. Get my footstool under my desk.
Exactly.
Well, can I have a question for you with the group exercising? So let's be real for a second. Was your part, like, why you liked group exercising was the gamification, or did you like looking over and beating the person next to you? Which one was
No, and to be honest, no. Because I am on my physical fitness journey. I am far from peak performance. Far. The really great thing, part of actually what was also so encouraging, is that the majority of these classes, there's so many out there, but the majority of these classes welcome everyone from every level, from wherever you're at in your fitness journey. If you're just getting started and you have 100 pounds to lose, or you're maintaining this incredible physique, and everything in between,
Yep.
and you are working out with everyone of every spot, anywhere that they are in their journey. You're all in this room. You're all in this room together. You're all working out together. You're all doing the same thing. Of course, you might use different. The weights that you use are different. How fast you're sprinting. You know what I mean. You may jog. You may power walk. It's it's adjusted to you. You're not doing the same thing as someone who might be shredded, but you're all sort of in it together. You're all sweating it out together, and there's a camaraderie element to it.
I love
So
that.
it wasn't like, it's definitely the gamification. It was something I didn't know was going to hook me. That was like a happy surprise. I was like, this feels like unlocking achievements in Dead by Daylight. This is amazing. Like, so the game,
almost as maybe a psychologist, maybe.
right?
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, it's encouraging to see, you know, people that you might deem have, you know, further to go than where you are, people who are an aspiration, you know, an inspiration to you, who you might aspire to be as physically fit as, all in the same room. And you all encourage each other, and you do, you know, air high fives, you know, and whatnot. So, that's what I loved about it so much, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's so important that scale down the exercises to the level of, you know, whoever might be participating, because that's at least what I found used to be an issue with when I started with CrossFit. Like, I was CrossFit certified.
Wow.
And I was really into that. And I remember as a PT, getting into the PT world, I was like, okay, well, I really want to help the CrossFit community better on-ramp their individuals that want to get into this cool world and this cool community. But I just feel like it was difficult, right? Like, I think there's a certain personality as well with CrossFit individuals that it just makes it hard. And it depends on the box itself. It depends on the gym itself. Sometimes there are good gyms, sometimes there aren't, you know. And I think in general, if you guys are interested in any group activity, like, look out for the gym that is mindful of, okay, let's scale it down to where you are, and let's make sure it's comfortable for you. Otherwise, it could be it could lead you to see me. I mean, if you want to see me, that's cool too. Right? we can do that, but I think the goal is to not see me.
Dr. Matt's like, yep, we call that job security for sure.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna read some of the chat. We got some people in the chat here. Daxtron says, I didn't realize that the letters are from real people with real questions. It's such an incredible way of asking possibly difficult things in an anonymous way and receiving positive answers. I totally agree. This game is dope. Awesome letter, by the way. I think those are awesome tools for anxiety, breathing and thinking about the relief and trying it. That's great. Mega Prute says, would Def be interested in trying out this game? Smiley face. Also love the stream, y'all. Hearts. Jackson says, wonderful idea. And Goonies Girl said, for sure. We got a question by Maddie Mini. Hi there, I have a question. Smiley face. Really like playing scary games with friends. Oh, I know a person that also loves playing scary games. Or alone online. But for example, with Dead by Daylight, I have noticed that for the first 3 to 4 games, my BPM is very high / sweaty palms / all that, haha, and then I calm down and can enjoy the rest of the games. Will this go away with time, or maybe it's not good for me? Question mark.
It's a really good question.
That is a really good question. I'll take this to.
Do you want to take it, or do you want me to take it? Up to you.
I'll go second. This is really
okay.
I want to see what Tokki has to say about her gaming experience, because I know I don't sweat. I just poop when I play Dead by Daylight. So it's different for me. But
yeah, do you get sweaty palms, mom spaghetti?
So let's see. So it's the thing with this game is that it is meant to be an intense, scary game. I will say the more you play, that definitely goes away. There's still jump scares with certain characters in the game. But yeah, no, if you're feeling like your BPM is very high, if you're feeling sweaty, that is sort of on theme. So don't feel like that is necessarily, abnormal. It's a horror game. If you're playing with friends, it might be really helpful for you to join them in comms, maybe have Discord pulled up, have some silly antics going on. You know, when you get jump scared, then you guys share a nervous giggle together. That might relieve some of that fear and anxiety. I definitely think that being in comms with friends would definitely really help that. And a lot of communities, if you're looking for people to play with, have sections. I can't speak for every Discord, but a lot of them, including my own, have sections in the Discord for pickup games. If you're looking for a SWIF, Survive with Friends, a group to play Dead by Daylight with, and I have several channels where you guys can easily jump into comms with your SWIF. I think that the more you play, it will go away with time, and the more that you goof off with your friends after getting jump scared, that will relieve you of that as well.
I think that's a perfect answer. Nothing to add. It'll go away over time. You're playing a horror game.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I mean, cognitively, if you think about the brain, and we're playing a horror game, so all fear, flight, fight gets filtered through amygdala, two small little almond-shaped things. So if you think amygdala and fear invoking, you're thinking symptomatic system there. So of course you're gonna get higher blood rate, blood pressure. Your palms will get sweaty. Maybe you'll get tense. Same thing as if you're hiding in a cave during dinosaur times and a saber-toothed tiger comes. You're gonna have the same reaction. So it's a natural body reaction. And I think there's different techniques that we can employ, breathing, playing with friends, these different things to kind of lower that jump scare. Everything is scary right now, like response. But it's a natural response for sure in your brain that's occurring, but we can manage it. Mm-hmm. Sweet, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, what is a SWIFT? What
It
is
means
that?
survive with friends. It's like grouping up. It's your team.
Word.
Yeah.
Sorry, again.
You're learning.
Noob.
We'll get you. It's okay.
Mine was like, dude, again, I played / watched it once. I was like, no. Maybe it'd be more fun if I was the killer.
No.
Maybe it'd be more fun if I was the killer, because I'd be like, I'd be the scary person, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
always the scared one, and it's all I have is this flashlight. I'm like, I just want to not be here with this thing.
I play killer
I
a
really
lot.
enjoyed.
No, I play killer a lot, just so you know. I still get jump scared by survivors who like stun me. As a killer, I get scared. So, to be fair. Go on, Dr. Matt, I'm sorry.
That's a deep metaphor. That's such a deep metaphor.
All good.
Only scared people scare people.
It just really reminded me
I feel you.
of Phasmophobia. Did you guys
Oh,
ever play
yes.
that?
Phasmophobia is awesome. Another fun part
I
of the
got
game.
really scared
It's a really-
playing
yeah.
that game. But it's so fun with friends.
It's so scary, but
if you happen
again-
to close the door on your friend, and it's just hilarious.
Throw a shoe at them.
Oh my god. Yep, throw a shoe at that. Oh my god. I
Let's
had so
get
much fun with
sponsored
that.
by Depends before I play with you, so that would be my goal.
Okay.
Yeah. Goonies girl agrees. She goes, that game gives me huge jump scares.
Yes,
Lol.
yes.
Yeah.
I think something that really stuck out to me when you were talking, even that letter, or when you're talking about what you enjoy about streaming, or what you're doing, it sounds what you really love, Tokki, is that you really love like creating a community, even working out. What you loved
Absolutely.
about it was
For the
the community aspect of it. Yeah, so I'm
100%.
wondering, like, what was it like for you to try to build a community and a brand, coming from like being a part-time for fun streamer, then coming back to America and just doing it full time? What was that transition like for you?
That transition was not easy. Because when I was only full-time, when I was only part-time, I didn't feel the pressure quite as much. I was a full-time teacher. That was my priority. Yes, I was falling wildly in love with my community on Twitch, with the game, with the entertaining aspect of it, with the community aspect of it, 100%. But it's still the amount of pressure wasn't there. When I transitioned to full-time, when I moved back to America, it was a world of pressure I wasn't mentally ready for, because it's not just Twitch, it's not just the game, and it's not just Twitch. If you are a full-time streamer, you are a brand. You're branding yourself. You're incorporating, you got to work on your merch store. You got to keep your merch store up to date. You have to incorporate all your social media in whatever aspects of that you do. Twitter, Instagram, Discord, if you're on TikTok, or if you do YouTube, whatever it is that you're trying to juggle all these things. In social media, I know our focus is in gaming, but social media is a very draining thing to me personally. I struggle with, you know what I mean, spending too much time on it. I don't enjoy spending too much time on social media, but I have to build my brand. You know what I mean? I have to if you want to grow the community, keep relevant, the pressure to sort of keep up.
Yeah.
God, can get to you. Yeah.
I bet. And I something that you're talking about, like the pressure, and I'm thinking about the last letter you wrote to that stranger, and I'm wondering, like, what are some things that you have done to kind of maybe cope with the pressure, alleviate, deal with it? Maybe not altogether healthy mental coping mechanisms. I
have a bad habit of hermit crabbing. I'm like
Hermit crabbing.
Of like disconnecting, almost maybe like more than I should. Like, you know, like disconnecting from all social media type screens, my phone, my computer, when the stream is over with. When obviously like my stream ends, I spend some time with whoever I raid, you know, check, you know, like the Discord, but then like I can't really lounge on my PC after stream and like, you know, toot around or play another game. I have to disconnect. I have to. It's like a like my screen time cup overfloweth, if that makes sense. Like, you know, and there's a mental,
sure,
there's you know, there's the strain from the
Your
lights.
mana's out.
Yeah, there's the physical element. There's the strain from the lights, but there's also like you mentally. Yeah, it's just sort of being always on, like the feeling of always being on.
Yeah.
I sometimes definitely have to disconnect. Big time. Big time.
Well, pause. Self-judgment statement. I don't think there's a healthy coping mechanism. At the same time, the way you just explained it, you know, you've logically said, like, after stream, I can't stay on the computer. I need to disconnect because I just had too much screen time. I've been on for 8 to 6 hours online, performing, being on. I think that, not performing, but just being on in front of people, being a little more like energetic. So that makes complete sense of why you'd want to disconnect. How come you think that's unhealthy?
Oh, I guess sometimes like, oh dear. If I compare myself, which I know you're not supposed to do, which I know you're not.
Slap you right there.
I know you're not.
Stop
it. And I'm like, oh, look at how active.
No,
look at how
bad.
active X, Y, and Z person is. They're so active on their socials. You know what I mean? But like I'm not that active. Or I'll try and I'm like, okay, one post today, or at least like a couple posts this week, and then I'll let go a stretch where like I don't post anything.
Yeah.
Which is not ideal for social media growth. That is not ideal for the algorithm, and that's all these things that you are researching, the algorithms, this, that, and this. And do I want those things? Do I want to grow the algorithm to grow our community? Because we're, listen, I'm confident to say our community is flippin' awesome. We're an incredible community, super
Nice.
warm, super welcoming, a very friendly, a very memey, you know, community to hang out in. And so, of course, I want to grow our community. And it's also what I do full time.
Yeah.
Of course, I want to grow that. And social media is a big part of that. And I do struggle with that element of streaming, the element of sort of like almost like self-promotion, like, you know, like putting yourself out there. And, I struggle with that a bit.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think that's something that is really unique to this day and age of someone doing something online in front of people every single day as much as they can. And in fact, the junk thing with the Twitch algorithm is you feel like if I'm not on, then I'm not out there. And if I'm not out there, then I'm not making money, or people can't see me. I can't grow my brand or my community. And so where do you draw that line of like, okay, I did my work today. I did my 9 to 5. I can stop now. But unfortunately, the internet really doesn't allow you to do that sometimes. But the thing that I'm hearing too is, I mean, you didn't say this, and I don't think that you would, but I mean, from my perspective, you are kind of the head of this community. You brought all these people together to hang out, to have a good time. At the same time, like, if you go down, your whole community goes down.
It's,
you know, the thing that
it's a responsibility. It's a feeling of responsibility that is very scary.
Ooh, yeah. So how are you putting things back into you? Because it sounds like almost every day you're putting stuff out there, but how do you fill your cup back up with your own things?
Yeah. That's a good question. I try to, you know, take moments of self-care, of course. You know, do certain things at Netflix, bath bombs, you know, all that stuff that
I love it.
Those self-care things, those times away definitely help re-energize you and things of that nature. Because I have to take care of myself in order to take care of this brand in the in the community. And
absolutely.
so yeah, it's it's a responsibility, but it's one that I love and am passionate about, that I signed up for. Sure. It's, you know, there's different elements that go into it. I mean, there's confidence stuff that goes into it that is always a work in progress for me. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times the community I'll hear things like, you know, I love spending time in the stream. It makes my days better. You make me smile. And I always tell them it really is like, it's a two-way street. If I feel the same way about coming to work, about sitting down at my desk and going live, it's a two-way street. So, I mean, as far as, you know, taking care of myself and refilling my cup goes, you know, obviously like the private self-care stuff, the Netflix and the bath bombs, are pretty much my go-to. But yeah, I do get reinvigorated just by my community itself, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I think that's like a common thing I'm hearing with a lot of players and streamers, where they feel like they have to just keep putting stuff out. And when oftentimes to work with them, I kind of encourage them like, okay, what's the thing that you're doing for yourself?
Right.
You know, what's the thing that you're doing for you that's just for you? That's only for you to enjoy, because oftentimes when we feel like we're always putting stuff out there, that just leads to burnout, and that's something I want to make sure that we stay away from, for you especially, because like I said, as the head of your community, I want to make sure that you are able to be the person you want to be, when and how you want to be it all the time, or when you want to be it, and not feel like I need to do X, Y, and Z and get tired. You know, I think it's really important to take care of yourself.
It
and
is.
Do that self-care piece.
It is. You're right. It's a tough thing to balance, because the nature of the beast, exactly what you said. Like, if you are not live, you know, Twitch, there's no paid time off. There are no sick days. There's no vacation time. You're not live. You're not growing. You're not. You know what I mean? So it's can be a toxic loop to get stuck in as a streamer. Not giving yourself, like, when I take time off, if I take time, I do stream 5 days a week, so I do have a 5-day work week, and I take 2 days off.
Nice.
Yeah. But if I ever like want to go see family or something, and if I like take like a long weekend or something, it's like full blown panic. Like, it's like, it really is like that time that's supposed to be relaxing. Yeah. I'm like freaking out. Yeah. It's that's tough. That's tough. It's nature of the beast.
Yeah. So it's so funny because you didn't say this, but it was like an implicit should. You know, like these, I should be on. I should do these things. I should be putting stuff out. And I'm wondering how like the shoulds or the the pressure affects your ability to be like present with yourself or what you're doing.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. It's a time that should be like relaxing. If you take an extra day or something, if that day off is spent in worry, it sort of is counterproductive. Yeah. So yeah.
It's weird how they got like feed into each other. Okay, so I know this is, I know like I'm like stealing Matt's time, or I think it's my time. I don't know.
No,
but
it's your time. You're good.
I definitely want. I think we talked about some things. We've been doing some poking. What do you think would be most helpful for you, Tokki? You want, we can process, we can explore. I can give you tips and tricks. Like, what do you think would be most helpful for you?
I like the word explore. Let's explore.
Oh, I'm down, girl. I'm down to explore. Hell yeah. Okay, so like, what's the best part about like being a community leader, or being able to bring people around the world into your world and create this happy fun time for people? What is that like?
It is a really remarkable experience to see. That's the beauty of Twitch, where most communities are absolutely like international. You bring people together from all over the world, all walks of life, under the umbrella of the love of this game that I main. What really, really always encourages me, what always makes me feel so good inside, is when I see, people in my community in chat who I know previously did not know each other, but they'll be like, oh, hey, so-and-so, how's your day? Or how did that thing go the other day? Because we talk about it. We sort of talk about those. Yeah. And like seeing, or like in my Discord, as I mentioned, we have like a pickup game section, seeing those voice comms full with members of my community who would not know each other had I not been a streamer that brought this community together, and seeing them all play games together and seeing all the voice chats full. It's a beautiful feeling. It really is a beautiful feeling. Because, you know, everyone's story, we're all human, but everyone's story is different. One thing that you can always do, you can choose your friends and you can choose your family. And like that's sort of what online, that's what we've done. And it's a very fulfilling feeling.
Yeah. I can only imagine what that's like. Like, oh, so-and-so is connecting to my chat? That's crazy. I almost was like this friend matchmaker that kind of brought them together. And now they're like chilling and hanging out, Mulan style. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some, because we don't talk about these things. I think that's what I really liked about this opportunity is that we get to talk maybe about things that we don't really get to share. And so this is barring none of how much you enjoy your community and how much you enjoy being a streamer. I'm just curious, like, what are some of the heavier things that like people don't talk about as a streamer, or some of the heavier topics that maybe we shy away from?
I think there's quite a lot actually. I mean, there's a lot of different elements that go into it. There's, personally as a female streamer, you know, the gaming industry, esports industry was typically a male-dominated world. You know, there's certain stereotypes that, you know, you're faced with, stereotypes or stigmas, or, oh, you're this, so you should be, like, even within the game itself. Even within the game itself, like, with the role that you choose in the game. You know, I consider myself a killer main, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of stereotypes and whatnot that go into it. And because of that can lead to just, you know, those struggles with comparison and, you know, those like confidence things, and, you know, comparison is the thief of joy and whatnot. You're sort of up as a streamer, putting yourself out there. You're up against a lot. As a female streamer, you're up against even different, more unique things. And it's tough. It can be mentally taxing. And when you're already dealing with something that is mentally taxing, even though, yes, you sign up for it, you're passionate about it, and you love it, I mean, there's other things. And you say like, that people may not talk about. Actually, there has been more light to, you know, the term called trauma dumping.
Educate us.
I know, at least on my Twitter thread, I actually pretty commonly see threads about this that blow up. So the foundation is that you're already dealing with all these things, right? That I aforementioned, you know, the being a female streamer and whatnot, and whatever challenges that may present. There's an element of, you know, we are a super close community. Mental health is something that is often a topic, but sometimes there's like an appropriateness as far as like timing goes. And trauma dumping is when someone can come into your stream and drop something super heavy via either chat, or sometimes even like via with like 100 bits or like a dono, so that it goes over text to speech. It's like a balance. There's a difficult balance, because you do talk about, like, we do talk about mental health things at certain times when, you know, we sort of like put that out there. Hey, we're gonna talk about this. But the majority of the time, it's escapism, like any other. Twitch.tv is like TV. It's escapism, and I want to be that for people. I do want, you know, to be that entertainment where people can go and, you know, sort of like watching a TV program, escape and enjoy and laugh and have fun. Trauma dumping is tricky because there's a thing, as being a female streamer, people will sort of, I think it's like being a very warm and welcoming person. People will maybe cling to that. But sometimes it's not like the appropriate time, and it's a balancing act of protecting myself. Am I able to process something like that someone might drop in a Twitch chat? And I also have to protect the rest of my stream, not knowing what it is. If there's trigger warnings or something like that, I've got to protect my chat as well as myself. And I'm not like you gentlemen, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trained. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained to, you know, necessarily deal with those things. That is probably a heavier, tougher thing that I would say an aspect of streaming to deal with.
Wow. Yeah, you hit that on a couple different levels. I think it's like 3 big ones. There's one, you, and processing it while trying to be a killer or run away from a killer. And then you have your stream, your chat that's in there, and then not just the chat, but then the larger community, your Twitter, your Discord, that these things might happen. And it's not just like silence, but people actually incredibly donate, so it gets read out loud so everyone can hear. And I think you nailed it where you're saying, look, I want to be there for this person. I want to be empathetic towards this person. At the same time, how do I help you?
Right.
How do I provide you with the correct support? And at the same time, how do I help my entire stream chat who's now a part of this thing?
Right.
Yeah, that sounds so rough. I mean, my question before we like talking to like about other things, like going thoroughly into it and maybe some tools, like what's that like for you when they stream down? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, it's tough because like it's sort of like even with like your personal relationships, like you have to like if you're about to like you need to vent to someone, is the person you're about to vent to in a headspace where they can process it and help you, or are they in a place where it could be too much? They're already so heavy. They're already, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I always try to, you know, do my job no matter what. You know, I may or may not be going through, and it's a sense of responsibility that I struggle with, that always wanting to help and always being that source. Again, there's a fear because I am not certified to handle, you know, certain topics, and so we have created something. We do have this is very common also. I have a venting section in my Discord. I do have a lot of sources pinned to that, sources that I personally feel near and dear to. Charities that are advocates for mental health have resources that I have pinned in that channel. And these are charities that I have closely worked with, such as Stack Up.
Shout them out, girl.
StackUp.org, they're amazing. And as you know, the community knows, we've raised over $17,000 for them for everything they do is really incredible.
Nice.
And they have programs that it's not just a military a charity. They also have programs for civilians, and it's all under this umbrella of gaming. So you know what I mean. And I've got all those resources pinned in our venting section of our Discord. So of course I always, you know, kindly, whenever that happens, whenever trauma dumping happens in a stream, always let them know, like, depending on the level, I mean, because it gets there, depending on the level, the message may need to be purged or not. We let them know that, like, the venting section is there. And that, you know, we're a supportive community, and we're there to love on each other and hype each other up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's you know, I do want to provide the best resources and the professionals, you know what I mean? That is me doing the best that I can because I'm not a therapist, I guess, is really all that amounts to.
And I mean, it sounds like you're doing your best. And I think it's the challenging kind of weird, hard thing is that, like, I'm trying to empathize with this person. I'm trying to imagine the trauma dumper, right? And what has happened, or the reasons that they're doing it just seems that they need help, or they want support or attention or something to help them feel better. And the thing that they know right now is, I'm a trauma dump. And I don't think that oftentimes they're thinking of the other resources out there that could provide them with better care. And I think that's a great segment into, hey, if you're looking for, you know, if you're thinking about getting help, or if you know a friend that might need some help, there's some awesome resources on their internet. There's awesome places to get help. I think if you're looking for a psychologist, a therapist, I know there's a lot of letters. There's masters, there's PsyDs, there's PhDs in psychology. They're all listed there. But really, the correct answer is, if you want to get help, go find it, go seek it. And the thing with psychologists and psychiatrists is that, like, find the one that works for you. And I'm here to tell you that maybe even the first one may not match you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has a preference of, you know, who they want to talk to, either male or female. If there's a different type of orientation,
Right.
someone's more exploratory, someone's a little bit more like CBT orientated, where they give you skills and worksheets, you know, or even if they're like your ethnicity, there's a lot of factors that affect your match with your therapist or someone that you want to talk to. So I encourage everyone to go be brave and go try. And here's the thing, another suggestion I have for everyone is
How about that?
if everything is great, now's a great time to see a psychologist.
Yes!
Because
Yep.
we love working in strengthening, we love working in prevention, we love working in skills, and it's a lot easier to get all these things when the house is not on fire.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So even though people think of psychologists, even PTs, as like emergency services only when things go bad, I'm highly encouraging, please come as soon as possible today when you're healthy. It's great. If you got a school, go visit your school counseling center. It's free for now if you're in high school typically, or you have counselors, or if you're in college, typically you have a student health center. So there's resources out there. Psychology Today is a great place to, even a website to start looking for therapists. And they get vetted, so that's a good place. The websites that you have on your Discord are also very good, but like I'm saying, please go shop and find your match. Because I think we forget that people like Tokki is a person,
Yeah.
you know, and they may not have the resources for what you're looking for, and they can only, provide you with where to go. So go find a psychologist, go talk to us. We're waiting for you. So let's hang out.
Aren't really quickly,
Yeah,
aren't you?
go, yeah.
I've seen a lot, especially again, state of the world in quarantine. I've seen a lot of advertisements for for FaceTime, therapy and things of that nature. If IRL going into an office is not an option.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So as someone who is curious about it myself, it really just as effective via FaceTime or Skype. You know what I mean? Like, is it, not being in that traditional setting, I guess.
Yeah, great question.
I've never tried it. So.
Yeah, well, research shows that it is just as effective. Of course, it's the why it's effective is because we can see you.
Right.
Like, a lot is lost. We're not physically there because we lose a lot of nonverbals. But if we can see you,
Okay.
we can hear you, we have a lot better chance of feeling those
Okay.
things or reading those things. Of course, in person is best, I think. But phone, video cam, it's just as good, I think, too. Especially if that's comfortable for you, because some people are uncomfortable going to an office and more comfortable talking in their own home. We'd have to make sure, some protocols would be show us the room to make sure no one's there, because we want to make sure that you're with us and just us. We don't want a lot of people unless it's group therapy or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so if that's an option and that's something you prefer, make sure you contact your therapist or ask, if that's an option for them, because pandemic has made it effective for us to do it remotely.
Right.
That's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah. So something I'm thinking
Yeah.
of, because you've mentioned it twice
Sure.
now, is comparison.
Oh, dear.
And because you've mentioned it a couple times, it makes me think that that's something that you do, or
What?
it's a challenge for you?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What's going on?
I mean, we're going way back here. No, I know it's a common thing. I know confidence issues and self-worth issues are not uncommon, and I did choose an interesting profession for being, being on camera so often, for being living my life very much online, whether that be social media or a stream, is an interesting profession of choice for someone who may have said struggles. And it's just something that I'm always working at trying to better. But it's always been a struggle, yeah. But this gaming and streaming might is aggravate the word that I'm looking for, might make it even more challenging, I guess.
Okay.
Because everything is right there. Everything is in your face.
Yeah.
Your stats, your like, you know what I mean? Like everything.
Oh,
everything is a
yeah.
stats game. Everything is a numbers game. Everything is, you know, just who does X, Y, Z, or what have you. And you know, there are viewers who may not know that they say certain things that are actually like hurtful or something like that. If they're comparing, like, yeah, it that definitely is something that is a struggle for me in this industry. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that makes me kind of think like, because everything is numbers, or you can see it, or there's comments, and if comparison is the thing, I'm wondering like, what is your metric of success?
Oh man.
Because Twitch has, the reason I'm asking this is Twitch has a metric of success.
Sure.
People have like your Twitch chat has a metric of success, but what is Tokki's metric of success?
Seeing growth. Seeing consistent
Ooh, okay.
seeing consistent growth is
Define growth.
So my statistics being for the most part in the positives. I know, I'm fully aware that when you switch around games or things like that, your average especially if you have a home within a certain genre, and when you switch it up, that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those changes, but over time, seeing growth, channel growth over time, is what encourages me to keep going, and but I know that I'm responsible for that, for channel growth, but everyone's Twitch journey is different. That's the thing, is like, it's so hard, that's what can be difficult about, you shouldn't, I know, I'm full aware you're not supposed to compare yourself to others. I know I know that's a no-no. And also everyone's Twitch journey is different.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone does different things. People might outsource in different areas. People might be growing via YouTube. You know what I mean? And there's so many different elements that sort of encompass it. But growth over time ultimately is what I would define as sort of like continued success. I don't, you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is okay. Is it alright if I challenge you a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Here's my challenge. It's a soft challenge. So you said, okay, I want to grow, right? I define success as growth.
Right.
And the way that I define growth is I see people joining my channel, my community, numbers in that direction. And and if I'm talking and it's like, oh, that was wrong.
No.
Correct me. Okay? And then another thing that you said is comparing, and how that can affect what you're doing and how you're doing things. And so for me, in my perspective, the first thing I want to say is like, there's only one Tokki. There's only one you. And if you compared or did things like other people, you wouldn't be
That's very true.
You'd be Dr. Matt, I don't know, Psych Sensei style.
Yes.
Right? But each of us have our own style, and in fact, what you're telling me is that your style is working because you have a great community.
I do have a great community. I do.
And so the thing that I'm going to push back on is it might be kind of hard to measure growth in numbers because, like you've mentioned, there's so many factors that go into growth.
Yeah.
Or number of people. So what would be a different metric that is more in your control than random people subbing or following or donating that you may not be able to force their hand to push that button or give me that money, but like, what can you do for yourself that is a more internal metric of success where growth is defined by something that you do? Like I've defined growth as hitting, I don't know, or being able to do this skill in my game. I'm defining growth as having a good time each time for longer time in each game. I don't know, like, what would be something more internal for you that is in your control that you can see growth in?
Oh, internal. I look forward to the day that I don't have those maybe confidence issues and whatnot. Like,
Ooh,
I want to. I'm
that.
very aware of them. I know I have those issues. I know, so I don't want anyone to ever think like, I don't want, you know, like sometimes people look at streamers. I'm not. So we're all on the same page. I'm not saying there are celebrity level streamers, but sometimes people do put like celebrities in like that internet personality of a streamer. on a pedestal. You know what I mean? That internet personality that you watch or something like that is perfect or doesn't struggle with X, Y, and Z. And I always want to be the one to say like, oh, you know what I mean? Just human, a human struggling with all those same things that we're all struggling with in this together. So I'm very aware. I know that's my struggle. I know I have to work towards it, and that it's up to me to make those differences. But that is what I look forward to, the day that I don't feel those things, because those things don't feel nice.
Oh, I can 100% completely agree. And I think for you, a possible homework assignment that we could work towards, because I'm seeing our time, and I think I want to take some questions or interact with chat a little bit. But I think maybe even with that, like, my goal is to feel more confident more days than not, or feel confident in general, period, boom. And I think then the way that we could kind of work this is like, okay, well, first of all, we have to define what confidence and feeling confident are to you, and then we have to define the things that shake your confidence and how you know when you're not confident. And then the first step would be, well, we have to track how many days you feel confident, how many days you do not. And then from there we can see on the days that you don't feel confident, what were those factors that shook your confidence. And then from there we get the lay of the land, and from after that we can put skills in for you. You know, either maybe those would be reframes, maybe that's taking breaks, maybe that's changing a mindset around it, whatever it is. And then after that we can actually see the number of days after you do these interventions and you're practicing these skills, how many more days you feel confident. Because I think if you felt more confident, you would have more fun. You'd be more engaging with the community.
I agree.
Then your thing would grow versus I just need to focus on this number growing. And it's like there's so many things that can affect this thing. But if you're just more confident and had more energy, I'm sure that channel would grow. You'd get more people like you that want to do Tokki things, because Tokki don't compare to nobody, right? We do Tokki things, and you're in the right, exactly where you want to be. So I think that'd be really interesting for you to actually do that self-study of, you know, what is the things that make you unconfident or whatever, and then what are the things that make you more confident, and then tracking those days, and then we can try different things. Because again, we work on 3 different levels here at 1HP. We work at, you know, the AKA model. That's the psych sensitive TM. The awareness piece, right? That's what we're trying to do, doing the awareness, doing the laying of the land, seeing what is and what's not and why is. And then we have the knowledge piece, right? We can provide you with the skills and the pieces of insight to help you do something different. And then, of course, the last A is action. So actually making a change. But when you think of this model, really all it does is it allows you space and time to make a different choice. So it sounds like you have really good awareness, and we can get to the next step. So I'm really excited. Maybe we could do that later. But yeah, what do you think?
I am excited. I'm excited for the homework. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Yeah, no, it's
hell yeah.
That's good stuff. Thank you.
All right, cool. So Draxton says, would you all agree that the hardest thing for a lot of people to do is to admit that they need any sort of help? There's still a stigma that getting any kind of help is a sign of being weak, especially when it comes to mental health. But it's literally opposite. Amen. And the more people who see that, the better more people will be, either physically or mentally. Amen. And then first player says, I think it's still especially for men at Draxton, and in many cultures around the world it's still looked down upon, but I do think progress is being made. I absolutely do. And then Goonies girls comments on top. Yes, I do agree that the stigma is huge, and that's why I love these types of things that we get to talk, have an open conversation. And thank you so much, Tokki, for being brave and sharing your story. I think it's hard for people even to say like, hey, these are things that are going on or coming on and taking this opportunity. So shout out to you. Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Ryan.
For
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, you know, what we can do, because I feel like we can keep talking about this.
Dude.
I don't know, we gotta set up either a follow-up stream, or we can hop onto your stream.
Dude.
So we could, you know, dig in a little more, explore a little more, because I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface. And not only that,
just scratched.
I'd love to just raise more awareness overall. We can start everyone on the A route.
Yeah.
We can move them toward the K. And then we can hope that it helps to promote some action, because that's what wisdom is, right? It's knowledge actioned. I like,
like
that.
it. Knowledge in
Anyways,
action.
so
Don't forget
So-
awareness, aka.
yeah, aka. So thanks everyone, especially Tokki. Everyone needs
Yeah,
to thank Tokki
huge
because
Tokki
hey,
fan.
Thank
really,
you guys for all your help.
really brave for sharing everything about yourself, being so vulnerable, being open to
Yeah,
talk about
dude.
things, and then also while providing these really great kind words to
Yeah.
Ella the deer, to
I gotta dive into this one. I gotta finish this one that I'm on.
LABC. Yep. We'll finish this one, and then I think that pretty much wraps it up for us today. But let's see how let's see this kind word
All right.
that's provided
So-
to Mr. L.
Yeah, Mr. L says, I don't know what to do. I'm always angry and unrelaxed. I kind of hate myself. Everyone around me is nice to me, tries to help me, but I can't realize the advice they try to give me. Why can't I just relax more and don't take everything so serious? So it sounds to me, that whole like feeling of like lack of self-worth or self-hatred, I'm not unfamiliar with. And what I think this comes down to is the inner dialogue, and having a more negative or angry inner dialogue. And that's what I want to tell this person, that battling inner dialogue
Yeah.
is difficult, but you don't. I'm trying to like squeeze as many characters
God.
and lines out of this as I can. You don't want to let it own you.
I feel like Tokki, this is going full circle though.
It is.
Like the start, I think this goes back to the comparing, because another thing I was thinking about when we were talking about it was like, hey, what would it be like if Tokki actually talked to Tokki
Wow.
if she was her friend?
Wow.
You know, like what would that look like? And Mr. L is going through the same thing as how would Mr. L be if Mr. L actually acted like a friend to Mr. L? Mr. L's best friend, what would he tell him? You know, what would Tokki tell Tokki when she's comparing it in her dark place? What would Tokki, her best friend, say? You know, so full circle, baby. That's what we do
So here's-
here. That's what we do here. Full circle.
You have to tell those angry, hateful thoughts to get lost because they don't serve you and they rob you. And why are you letting them rob you?
Please don't let them rob you. Please.
Unless you're into that. That's different. Unless you're into that. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not here to judge.
That's a great last and amazing letter. From
So
Mr.
he
L.
wants to feel
Please.
relaxed, right? He just needs to relax more, feel, and he doesn't want to take everything so serious. You deserve to feel relaxed and carefree. So when those thoughts, I'm gonna run out of thing. I need more lines.
Thoughts come, say bye.
feelings.
Yeah.
Come, tell them
Come
to
on.
get lost. No,
Lost?
Tell
Get L.
them
Get L.
get
That's a good way.
lost.
Get L.
Tell them.
Tell them bye. Bye.
Tell
Just
them bye. Tell them.
Bye.
Tell them.
Tell them bye.
Tell them bye.
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 Bye. Yep, exactly. And you have to say
I
it like
love
that.
it.
Bye.
Send that.
I gotta
Send
have
that.
my sticker.
Yeah.
The one sticker that I have.
Yep. Just
You
the one
have the
sticker.
okay. You get an Abe Lincoln sticker
That's the only sticker I have.
for our wise wisdom. You get Abe Lincoln.
And that's the thing is that
But
like,
yeah.
those bad thoughts can rob you of your
they
your
can.
joy and
Mm-hmm.
your peace, your inner peace, and you shouldn't let them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Woo,
Yeah, so
okay.
thanks everyone
Good job,
again
guys.
for
Yeah.
tuning in, for sticking around for all the kind words and everything that we talked about. And maybe you can link or check out Tokki's Discord for all the potential
Word, yeah.
resources that you guys can check out. What
Please.
Ryan talked about, psychology today, and all of the great resources that Tokki has within our Discord. We just want to raise awareness for mental health with this stream. Hopefully you guys took one thing away from it. If you guys did, please tweet it out. We want to spread more of this. What was the one thing that you took away from this that was really helpful for you?
I would love to hear that,
Was it
yeah.
awareness? Was it knowledge? Was it action? Tag us. If it was Tokki and her great kind words, then tell her. Hey, I
Yeah.
really like that letter that you wrote to Ella. I want to write another letter to Ella too.
Pay it forward.
just-
Pay it forward. Let's make a chain.
But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and thanks to both of you guys too also for
Yes.
just being willing to hop on.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah,
it.
thank you so
Jesus.
much. Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Thank you, Dr. Matt, for all the help, and thank you to Intel for putting this together and having us. It was awesome. Thank you.
Hey man, thanks all around, especially to you, Tokki.
Anytime. Anytime.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Pieces.
I don't understand it. This wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it. I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you heard the truth. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me saying away. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fade.